All right, this is plantain, Plantago major, and this is not really a very characteristic plantain. This is a Turkish variety, actually, that we're growing here at HomeGrown Herbalist that gets bigger. Plus, we're being nice to it, so it's lots bigger. But plantain, anatomically looks like this. I'll put some pictures up of some wild. Here's some wild plantain, and you can see it's a much smaller, closer to the ground kind of a plant. There's two species we see commonly in this area. One is Plantago major, which is the broadleaf plantain, and the other is Plantago lanceolata, which is the narrowleaf plantain. The broadleaf plantain is sort of a shade-loving, high-moisture kind of a kid. You'll find it in your lawn in the shadier, cooler parts. The narrowleaf plantain will grow anywhere. You'll find that out in the bare desert dirt around here in Idaho. So it's a tougher plant. They're both the same medicinally. The Plantago major is better from a cultivation standpoint because it's a bigger plant. It makes more medicine, but they both work the same. Both species of plantain have this very distinctive ribbing on the back of the lip or back of the leaf. In fact, one of the common names of this is ribwort. Wort means plant, right? So it's the rib plant. But it's got these very distinctive, straight, unbranching veins on the back of the leaf. Really a wonderful plant. And then it also has these seed stalks that come up that are very distinctive. And the seed husks from those heads is actually where they get psyllium from, which is the main ingredient in products like Metamucil, bulking laxatives. They actually use a species called Plantago ovata to make commercial psyllium because it makes a lot more of it. But if you have a dry plantain head and you pull the husks off, that's what it is. The plant has some very important properties, and it's very important because it's very mild, and sometimes less is more. So, for example, it's a mild antibiotic. Well, why would you want a mild antibiotic? Well, I like mild antibiotics for gastrointestinal things. I like it for leaky gut problems where you might have some bacterial dysbiosis and weird things happening, but you don't want to clean it out, right? You don't want to kill too much, but you sort of want to temper the bacterial population without being too harsh. I also like the fact that it's a mild vulnerary, right? So what's a vulnerary? Well, a vulnerary is a plant that accelerates healing, a cell proliferant, right? A plant that makes cells divide faster. Comfrey does that, calendula, gumweed. There's a lot of plants that do that. Gumweed does it very mildly. Plantain, does that very mildly. Well, why would I want that? Well, I would want that on a puncture wound, right? Because if you put comfrey, for example, on a puncture wound, it'll seal it up right now, and then you're going to get an abscess. And that's no good. And so with plantain, by contrast, it still accelerates the healing, but it's a much more mild, slower process, so that the wound heals from the inside out, and you don't get that abscess formation. So it's good internally and as a poultice for puncture wounds. It also has good drawing power. I've used it on a lot of puncture wound cases and wound cases just to pull junk out of the wound, very, very good for that. It's also good for pulling toxins out of the body, internally or topically. Blood poisoning cases, venomous bites and stings. I use this on rattlesnake bites in the vet practice all the time. It's tremendous for that. Bee stings, anything like that. Spider bites. You can just take the leaf and chew it up and make a spit poultice and put it on a bee sting or a spider bite, and it'll pull the pain out of that. Really a tremendous plant. I use it in leaky gut cases. I use it in because it heals the gut gradually, pleasantly, not in an intense way. I use it in blood poisoning cases. I use it in anything, sepsis, venoms. I use it as a poultice for drawing stuff out of wounds. It's also a good diuretic for urinary tract stuff, bladder infections and things. Just really a wonderful plant. If I only had 5 plants, this one would probably be on my list. Plantain, Plantago major.